Hi guys, as you've probably seen by the title of this video, I'll be talking about the relationship advice on my perspective. And I bet you've seen a lot of online advice on how to get a girlfriend. But I can say for experience, and some of you may relate to this, that a good portion of it doesn't work in real life at all. To give you some context, I've met my actual girlfriend about 2.5 years ago. It was after school. I went with a couple of friends to the shopping mall, which is basically next to my house. And there was a girl, which is now my girlfriend, who was a friend of one of the girls in the friend group. I talked to her thinking nothing of it, and even made her laugh at some point. And after a while, everyone went home and I didn't see her anymore until about 7 months later. When I was working out at the gym, she came in and she looked good. So I thought, you know what? Let's go talk to her and see if she remembers me. And of course, since I never even had a kiss before, and I think you know what this feeling is, right? I was scared. Because imagine this, you get to approach a girl, you've seen her, yeah, but of course, she's still a girl. And of course, you need to approach her, and your heart starts pounding. You know that feeling. You've probably perceived that feeling before. So you know what I'm talking about. At the end of the conversation with her, I sent some random shit like, oh, and I'm Alessandro, by the way, if you care. And she told me after, of course, we got together that she thought she made me upset with something she said. So this goes to show that mistakes are done in like nothing, and some of the times it's perceived like she did something wrong, which is probably the worst scenario you can have. Now that you got a little context, what's different with the online advice and what actually works? Of course, everything I'm about to say, like every advice you hear online, you got to take with action and with caution to see which advice works and what doesn't. Because not everything that worked for me might actually work for you. Keep in mind that most probably, if it weren't for another friend in common that we had, I wouldn't be in a relationship right now. So, first of all, I've heard that you need to talk to multiple girls before you date one. Meaning, for example, you need to text on Instagram to multiple girls at the same time. Please, don't text multiple girls at the same time. Don't do it. Because if they find out, and let me tell you, they will, I don't know how, but they will, you're gonna be perceived either as a fuckboy, which in per se sometimes may work. But most of you, let's be honest, are only gonna be perceived as desperate. And it was my case like 3 years ago, before knowing, of course, my actual girlfriend right now. Here in Italy, we have a saying, which is dead for pussy. And that means that someone is very desperate to get even the slightest scent of a girl or a pussy. Now, the second advice I hear a lot is don't text immediately when they text you. Now, here there are a lot of exceptions, and it varies from person to person. But while there's truth to that, and you should never constantly text immediately, there are times you should text as soon as possible, meaning that if she's engaged in a conversation, you should never quit a conversation while you're texting back and forth, just to make yourself desire more. That is most probably the worst thing you can do. What you need to do is actually differentiate the response delay, meaning that only when you stop conversating with her and she texts you back after a while, that you need to take your time responding. And that is a thing to keep in mind, so you need to know what kind of girl she is. Does she make herself desire more, meaning she takes time before responding you? Or is she a girl who's committed and answers within like 5 minutes? Now, of course, sometimes she may seem interested at the beginning and then switch back to the wants to make herself desire more. So this is where my advice comes in. So what you need to do is basically mirror more or less the time she takes to respond. But don't make it obvious, because when she notices it, she'll think, you're more like childish. So please don't make it obvious. Don't try to make it like, oh, she texts me like after 10 minutes and 22 seconds, and I text her 10 minutes and after 22 seconds. Like, of course, after a while, she gets it. You make it obvious. So just make yourself busy with something else in the meantime. Even if you delay the response to 30 minutes, doesn't matter. Just mirror more or less what's her response time. Don't make it too obvious, of course. Make yourself busy in the meantime. But if she's engaged, please don't take too much time responding, because then she'll think of you like, oh, he doesn't care at all. It works like that. Trust me. Now, last advice, which I don't agree with, is cold approaching. Well, yes, it kind of is what put me in a relationship. The fact that she already knew my face and I knew hers made us not complete strangers anymore. And I had the advantage of talking to her, mentioning some of our common friends, which put us a little closer, and that allowed me to approach her without thinking too much of it. Even if I was a little scared, let's be honest. I think most of you can relate to this. Come on, everyone, when they approach a girl, is a little scared. Even if you're a little more comfortable with it, there's still a part of you which is a little scared. Now, the problem with cold approaching a girl is that if you see her in a bar and she notices you, you can clearly see that she's interested by giving you the hints, which are like a thin smile, like this, or a 1.25 seconds eye contact, like that is game for them. And then they tell you, I gave him hints and he didn't take them. Yeah, of course. I also scan everybody at the bar when I'm with friends or my girlfriend, but that doesn't mean I want to fuck everyone. Doesn't make any sense. No. Now, of course, some hints you can clearly see them. Like maybe she gives you, besides the tame smile and the eye contact, the little, eye closing. I don't know which is called, what that is called, but you get me. Now, of course, I think that is not completely cold approaching because, you know, she's kind of interested and you see that. I'm referring to those cases where she didn't even notice you and out of nowhere you approach her. In these cases, the first step, the hardest one, is to convince her you're not a creep and want to abduct her. Because yeah, that is the first idea that pops in the mind of the girl when she sees a guy approaching her out of nowhere. And if you succeed in the first step, then you need to attract her with your words or actions. And here we arrive at the advice which I agree with, which is being confident. That alone gives you a huge increase of success in pulling a girl. And to do that, you must first get comfortable talking to girls, of course, and then thinking, why I actually meaning it, this is very important, that she's not better than you. Maybe even a little worse. No, some of you, it may be hard since you don't do anything at all that might actually bring some interest to a girl. And let's be honest, I'm also not the best example for it. But if you're like me, someone who at least has preferred sports as hobby, which is volleyball, by the way, if you're interested, tries achieving a goal that has previously established, then yeah, you're going probably not below the girl. Some of those girls who you think are beautiful might actually be what a famous YouTuber named Hamza, you probably know if you're watching me right now, calls a Jessica, which is that type of person who doesn't do anything productive at all. And by that, I don't mean she has some of the bad habits like scrolling on the phone, but not having a single good habit, which is training, not smoking or drinking. That is actually having bad habits. I still have bad habits. I still play video games on almost a regular basis. I eat junk food almost every day, so I'm not perfect. But the fact that I don't smoke or drink and still work out and help my family when needed puts me already in a better position than a lot of girls. And of course, I still try to provide for my family by searching for work, studying in the meantime, and recording YouTube videos like this one. These are good habits that allow me to grow even a little bit day by day. Now, another advice that I agree with is that next to the confidence, you need charm, which you can obtain by doing things that actually make you happy. For example, what I am doing right now, I was thinking of starting a YouTube channel for who knows how long by now, probably years. But by actually doing it, it I already feel more purposeful because I am giving you my perspective on life quests basically, which allows me to feel like I'm helping people who need this advice like me. And not gonna lie, Hansa is what helped me through my journey right now and still will on the months or years to come. So I invite you to check his channel out because if you don't already know him, and I think you probably know if you're watching me. And of course, the reason I wanted to make this channel is because I like what he did and wanted to give you another perspective of the advices and cultures differences. And not only that, but I wanted to reconsider some of the advices online generally, while also fulfilling my long lasting dream, which is working by myself. That is probably the best feeling in the world, being your own boss. And by doing it, of course, not stressing too much because then it makes a little less sense. But even then, I think that is the best scenario you can work by. So, getting back on the relationship advice before we get lost in the sea, basically. You probably know the stereotypes that revolve around relationships. Let me tell you, they're basically all true. Like, have you watched the movie Obsession with like the main protagonist wishing for the love of a girl, which turns into a complete nightmare, basically? Well, I did, and the fact of majority of the movie, of course, eliminating the exaggerated parts, like cooking the cat or duct taping the whole doorway. Most of the movie, I was like, isn't this normal? To let you know how fucked up relationships are sometimes. This is just to give you a perspective of what being in a relationship is like. Now, of course, there are also pros to that, which is being affectionate and receiving joy with being with the other person, and of course, sex. But there are also cons. Besides the stereotypes, there is the time factor. If you are someone who has already limited time in the day, since maybe you work and then you go to the gym, you then also have to spend time with your girlfriend, or else she will lose interest in you. And even if she doesn't leave you, she will make you notice her low interest by not being engaged in the conversation of the moment. So make sure you spend some time with her, not necessarily every day, but at least once every 2 days if you already have a girlfriend. If you don't have a girlfriend, I may suggest you don't get one until you are financially stable. If you already have experience with them. So if you had a relationship before. If you didn't have a relationship before, then I suggest you make the experience first of having a girlfriend, and then you can consider reaching for financial stability. So, to synthesize, don't text to multiple girls. Don't delay the conversation if not needed. Be charismatic and charming. Be confident with girls. And don't go cold approach. Well, you can cold approach only if you like see this girl once in your lifetime, and you probably won't see her ever again. Yes, you can try, but if you're put in a position where you can actually see the girl another time, and you can step by step increase your familiarity with her. Like, first of all, you say hi to her, then you start a conversation, like the next day or next time you see her. Then, step by step, you're gonna get familiarity with her, and then, without you even noticing it, you are already committed to her. And then, of course, make the experience if needed. If you already have the experience of having a girlfriend and you want to get financially stable, then, of course, don't get in a relationship again. Do it only if you know that the girl isn't toxic. If she isn't, then of course you can also try, but I wouldn't recommend it because even if she wasn't toxic, it's still time consuming because she needs affection, of course. But you also need time to work on yourself. So please make all the consideration possible before doing anything at all. For this video is all. I hope you took some advices from it, and I hope it resonates with you. So for today's video is all. I see you to the next one. Reach for happiness, don't forget that.